Max Strus has quietly become one of the NBA's deadliest three-point snipers. A top 5 NBA center in Bam Adebayo is averaging a career high in both points and rebounds, and Tyler Herro's having the best season of all time from a sixth man. While Jimmy Butler, who's currently battling an ankle injury that's day-to-day, hasn't quite found the dominant rhythm we've seen him find time and time again, this video shows you how the Miami Heat are still owning the Eastern Conference. Plus, with Kyle Lowry rejoining the lineup after being out due to personal reasons, how much does that impact South Beach capturing their franchise's 4th NBA title? I'm about to break down the details for you on all that and more. Right quick, only 11.2% of you watching right now are subscribed, so if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also leave a thumbs up, it takes just a few seconds and makes a massive difference towards this video spreading. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DFlowHoops and I'll follow you back. Link is down below in the description for those two platforms. An elite, high-volume three-point marksman for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the undrafted product out of DePaul University and Max Strus has earned some recognition. Among the 43 players who've attempted at least 6.5 three-point attempts per night, Strus ranks 4th in three-point percentage, only behind Lonzo Ball, Desmond Bane, and Patty Mills. Later on, you're going to see a breakdown of the team's 2nd and 3rd leading scorers in Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, but displaying the Heat's depth, the Chicago native Max Strus is one of 5 Miami players averaging at least 10 points per game, and one of a staggering 9 rotation guys posting at least 8 points each game. That's not even including the former All-Star Victor Oladipo, who's still finding form, and that also isn't including a top bench player for 2020's championship-winning LA Lakers in the stretch big Markieff Morris. Morris just returned after that early season hit from behind from Nikola Jokic. But getting back to Max Strus, whose footwork and shooting balance allow him to fluidly run off wide down screens like this one. With Drummond nicely contesting the shot, getting a hand up in his grill, Strus displays he's a mismatch expert, knocking it down as if no one's there. That outing in the Kings County saw Max make 6 of his 12 shots, which were all 3-point attempts, finishing with 21 points in a 6-point win over the Brooklyn Nets on the road. But Max's 21 was only a Miami 4th best scoring total on the night, as Bam dropped 30, Herro had 27, and Caleb Martin had 22. When Strus gets loose and sets his feet, the third-year guard is absolutely money. According to NBA.com's shooting dashboard, Strus gets 1.5 wide-open threes per game, and he makes a very strong 50% of them. Moving on to our next segment. Trolls on Twitter try to label Jimmy Butler as an overrated player and therefore dismiss the Miami Heat as legitimate contenders, but they forget how much support President Pat Riley and GM Andy Ellisberg have acquired around their superstar. The Heat have had first-class management since the mid-90s, constantly surrounding their team's top players, whether it was Alonzo Mourning plus Tim Hardaway, or Wade and Shaq, or the Big Three era, with the adequate supporting cast. Role players to shore up gaps, whether they can space the floor with a 3-ball or clamp up attacking players, have always been present on Miami's most successful teams, but 2022's roster in terms of its depth is undoubtedly the deepest roster in their franchise's history, as I've said in prior videos, with sharpshooters like Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and of course Max Strus. Unfortunately, Caleb Martin is out with a knee injury right now, wishing the man a speedy recovery, but at full strength, he and PJ Tucker are 2 lengthy, intelligent defensive wings who can lock up opposing teams' top options. Another important factor to the Heat's depth is that they have 2 solid 2nd and 3rd string centers behind Bam Adebayo, with the journeyman Dwayne Dedmon, who's added a 3-point shot, but mostly thrives being an enforcer near the rim. But Dedmon and Adebayo have both missed some time this season, and that's where the undrafted Turkish rookie in Omar Yurtseven has come in handy. Man played really well for a stretch of games. With that said, Heat fans are happy to have a healthy Bam Bam back in the lineup and starting to find his feel for the game offensively. 24-year-old Bam has already been named a 2-time All-Defensive Team player and an All-Star in his young 5-year pro career. The elite 5-man is always going to be a force on D, and now he's starting to find his flow on the other end of the court in 45 games so far during the 2021-22 campaign. South Beach's top-notch center Bam Adebayo is posting career-best numbers of 19 points, 10.3 boards, and 1.5 steals per game. Also, it hasn't been the most noteworthy passing season for Bam, and while he doesn't have the games to qualify, His 3.5 assists per game are good enough for 4th best, only behind Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Karl Anthony Towns. We talk about the rim protection and post and pick and roll scoring on the other end, but what isn't realized among a lot of fans with Adebayo is that aforementioned passing. Yesterday we looked at Draymond's passing impact, and while Green's a power forward, he keeps a similar rhythm to the Warriors' offense that Adebayo instills in Miami's offense. Erik Spoelstra runs an offense filled with down screens, handoffs, and copious off-ball movement. You can't underestimate Adebayo's impact on setting up the Heat shooters who run those intricate routes within the system. Bam's averaged at least 5 assists per game in 2 different years before this one, and come the 2022 playoffs, you can expect a high percentage of Miami's play sets to be orchestrated by Bam Bam's facilitating. Whether it's gathering motion out of horns, handoffs into a screen, or the newly popularized split action, teams who can run offense through the post are always tougher to defend. Having said that, the Heat's playoff chances will also depend on shot creators like Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and the next man we're going to break down in Tyler Hero to generate efficient looks. Averaging the highest scoring mark of all time from a bench player, Hero's 21 points per game is more than all-time great sixth men like Jamal Crawford, Manu Ginobili, or Jason Terry ever averaged in a season of their respective careers. Hero has a wide array of weapons he can utilize in his offensive bag when it comes to shot creation. He can beat opponents off the dribble for mid-range J's or drives, navigate pick and rolls to shoot, penetrate or pass, and knock it down from deep when the defense collapses on his teammates. Jimmy's well-documented struggles down the stretch of games this year, or just the fact that he hasn't been available for a third of Miami's matchups, that's shifted Miami's hierarchy in terms of late-game options, with Hero morphing into Erik Spoelstra's go-to guy. In his last 10 games, Hero's averaging 25 points on 51% shooting from the field, 47% from downtown, and 84% from the foul line. He's also grabbing 4.5 boards a contest and dishing out 3.5 dimes. Given Lowry's built up a habit of relucting to shoot, Bam's sometimes lack of aggressiveness, and Butler's unavailability, Hero's Miami's most reliable option when games get close. Opposing teams are also beginning to notice it, but despite the improved defense and higher degree of shot-making difficulty, Miami's so-called boy wonder has stepped up to the challenge. Hero's breakout season just keeps getting more impressive, just in time for what could be a juicy contract extension this offseason following what Heat fans hope is a playoff run that'll extend until June. Miami gets another 2 days off before they host Oklahoma City at home, then has a number of tough matchups, assuming the opposition are healthy, at Philadelphia, against Golden State, against New York, and then against Brooklyn on the second night of a back-to-back. For Miami, it's crucial they perform well over this 5-game stretch because it's going to lay the groundwork of whether or not they'll be in prime position to secure the number 1 seed in the conference for the postseason, or if that'll be up for grabs heading into the final weeks of the regular season. What'll be the Heat's record in their next 5 games? Best answer down below in the comments gets next video shoutout. Top 5 commenters with the most shoutouts by March 21st receive free NBA merchandise of their choosing this spring, so leave your take on today's question to compete in Community Speaks. Today's Speaks winner is Ona Ebo Daga, who says, right now I'm picking the Suns to win it all. Their championship experience is the reason they've been the best team all year long. Phoenix just became the first team to clinch a playoff berth. Plus, the pieces they have around Devin Booker and CP3 work as one cohesive unit. Appreciate every answer. This was D-Flow. I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you next video.